The end of the world has to be approaching upon us very quickly at this point. I can feel its hot, steamy breath like the bad breath episode from SpongeBob all over my neck, giving me goosebumps, making me curl up and cringe at the smell of it. Because the event YouTubers versus TikTokers just happened. A boxing event between YouTubers and TikTokers. If that doesn't tell you the end of the world is near, I don't think nothing will. You clearly can't see the doomsday events that Nostradamus has predicted. They're right in front of your face. They're basically telling you that it's coming soon, and you're a non-believer. You're like that woman that thinks she's a superhero now that's got magnetic abilities, like Magneto, all because she took the COVID vaccine. The event was averagely pathetic with a high amount of boredom. Not as much as the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather fight, but it was still quite up there. I could have definitely fell asleep to it. This is the event that no one wanted and even less people ask for, but for some reason people are still paying for events like this and then complaining afterwards. Oh, I shouldn't have paid $30, I shouldn't have paid $50, it was a waste of my money. Obviously it's a waste of your money. Every single one of them have been. It's just going to be boring and definitely not worth your money or time. So in this video, I just wanted to go over the event as a whole and break down to you on a molecular level why I hated this event, why I was not a fan in the slightest. The first giant caution sign you should have seen is the title of the event, YouTubers versus TikTokers. This isn't boxers against boxers, it's people who make content online against people who make content online but are very scrawny with curly hair. So obviously you shouldn't expect much in the realm of boxing capability. You know, they're just going to be throwing some wet punches at each other. It's like wet noodle arms just slinging back and forth at each other. And maybe one of them falls and they act like they got knocked out or something. That's about all you're going to get. To start off with, I'm going to be talking about the performances, the live performances. Live performances are never as good as the actual song. They're always a bit awkward and a bit underwhelming. Little Baby, he was alright, you know, it was whatever. But DJ Khaled, that is where it got bad. He runs down the aisle like a WWE entrance, enters the ring, starts going around, trying to get the crowd to engage. Like the song was cutting off, like he was doing a literal live performance at a concert, and he was like putting the microphone out, like trying to get the people to engage with him, and it would go silent, and then he would like finish the lyrics, guys. Silence. Not even cricket noise. It's like complete and utter nothingness. And he did this multiple times. It wasn't just one or two times and then he realized they weren't going to do it, so he just kept going, didn't stop. He would run around the ring in circles he was like a little kid on Christmas. He was so excited to be there, and he would stop, point the mic out, nothing. Run around to the other side, maybe the other side's a little bit more active. Nothing.
All I do is win. Got money on my in every summer.
It's one of the most awkward experiences of my entire life. Even more awkward than when you touch the hand of someone you don't know in line or something, and then you gotta awkwardly look at him and stand there. You don't know if you should talk to him because you might be in love. And the stadium, it's not like it was packed out to the point where he could expect them to interact with his songs and like scream and finish the lyrics like it was an actual tour he was on for people that wanted to be there to specifically see him. He was at a mediocre boxing event that had like medium capacity in the Hard Rock Stadium, even definitely less than medium, but just to be nice, I'm going to say medium capacity. There was not nearly enough people to elicit that type of performance. Even if all of them would have collectively screamed, I doubt their voices together would have reached the microphone in the first place. So after DJ Khaled had to hold back tears from embarrassment and utter awkwardness, we got into the fights. And the fights, just as expected, they were very amateur. So now I'm going to speed run through these fights and I'm going to paint the picture so perfectly for you. Not even Vincent van Gogh could paint a picture this clear in your head just from words. Tanner Fox versus Ryland Storms. Didn't happen. They canceled it. Face Jarvis versus Michael Lee. Face Jarvis knocked him out. It's just funny that people are making a big deal out of people like Jarvis and stuff who's never boxed before knocking someone out. The other person they're fighting, you realize, has no boxing experience as well. Obviously, they're not going to be very acquired to taking a hit on the chin and walking away with it. He's a TikToker. Obviously, he's not used to taking punches on the side of his face and standing up and walking them off like a strong old boy. He's a little tiny, scrawny TikToker. Obviously, he's going to get knocked out pretty easily. And then DDG versus Nate Wyatt. I don't know who Nate Wyatt is. DDG, I know he's like a YouTube rapper guy that's like more mainstream rapper now, I guess. But he won. DDG won. And then you get to the Deji fight where he fought Vinny Hacker. I do not know who Vinny Hacker is because he's a TikToker. No one else knows who he is either. But Deji clearly, since his last fight, I think, was his last fight Jake Paul? I don't know. But it looks like since his last fight, it consisted of watching boxing videos while eating copious amounts of donuts, laying on the couch, and that's about it. He did not have any cardio. His body was so out of shape, he should not have even been allowed in the ring. They should have turned him away and said, no, go find us the real Deji. You're not Deji. Get out of here. You look like some middle-aged man who's like tired of his entire existence, and his cardio is the cardio of a guy who's been smoking for 50 years. I have nothing but bad things to say about Deji. You know, he clearly had no motivation to win this fight. He didn't even, it looked like he attempted to win the fight. It's like he just walked in there, and as soon as he stepped in the ring, like he got gassed from walking to the ring. By the time the match started, he was already out of breath. His cardio is probably similar to Jabba the Hutt in that he does not move very quickly at all, and he can't move for a very long amount of time. And if you couldn't infer that Deji lost from everything I just said about him, everything I just drug him through the mud over, yeah, he lost big time. This no-name TikToker dude destroyed him. Lots out for Deji. Got rocked. I'm not trying to say that the TikToker was a good fighter. He wasn't. He was throwing mediocre punches at best. You know, some really puffy, wet farts at him. You know, not doing much damage, but Deji just literally couldn't breathe. It's like he just took his lungs out for the fight. It's like I was just watching a public beating. And then you get to the Anderson Gibb fight versus Taylor Holder. I once again don't know who Taylor Holder is, but Gibb is the guy who got knocked out by Jake Paul. That's all you need to know. That's enough to ruin his entire existence. He should have never stepped back in the boxing ring after getting knocked out by Jake Paul. But he did step back in the boxing ring, and he might have got robbed. You know, I'm not going to say he didn't get robbed because he definitely beat the guy, but they called it a tie. Gibb definitely had the more punches. He had the better stats throughout the fight. Definitely should have won. The other TikToker dude clearly did not win in the slightest. He says he won. He says he's the one getting robbed, but he knows deep down he got absolutely rocked. Gibb destroyed him easily. But, you know, I'm not trying to say Gibb's any better than he was when he fought Jake Paul. If Jake Paul stepped back in the ring with him, he'd probably knock him out again. If you're one of the people that's got knocked out by Jake Paul, you don't deserve to ever have the rights to step back in a boxing ring in the first place, in my opinion. You know, I wouldn't even do it. I would just stay out from the public eye as long as I can. I would never put boxing gloves back on ever again. It would be PTSD. You just put gloves on and you hear, it's every day, bro, and you're looking around like, where's he at? And then you get to the big main event fight, Austin McBroom versus Bryce Hall. And this fight had very little hop to it. The only thing I ever seen about it before it ever happened was the little scuffle that they had in public. You know, who cares about that? I don't really care. Obviously, it's fabricated. They don't actually hate each other. But they fought. Austin McBroom absolutely destroys Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall has zero chance. Austin McBroom is out here looking like the Flash compared to Bryce Hall. He's hitting him left and right. I don't think Bryce Hall landed any punches. They said he landed like 10, and Austin McBroom landed like almost 30. It was not that close. I did not see Bryce Hall maybe land one punch. He hit him in like the back of the head a couple times, kept grabbing him because he was scared if he let go that Austin would absolutely rock him. Austin McBroom definitely looked like the best fighter out of anyone else on the entire fight card, in my opinion. He had a nice jab, he had speed, he was quick, especially for being 30 years old, fighting like a 21-year-old. Bryce Hall literally called himself Superman. He said he was Superman. He's been in like 40-some street fights. He's obviously going to win because he's just the better fighter. He has wrestling experience and all that. Austin destroyed him. Bryce Hall has never been actually hit in the face before. They probably got the pads on and just smacked him in the face and said, oh, Bryce, you're eating those, baby. You ain't going to even feel his punches. It's going to feel like a little baby's hitting you in the face, and you can just punt him out of the ring. You're going to destroy Austin McBroom. There's no chance you're going to sweep him. You get it? You're going to sweep him out of the ring because his last name's McBroom. Okay, I'm going to stop. And then they stopped the fight because Bryce Hall was about to lose his remaining brain cells. His brains was coming out of his ears. He was looking like he was just all over the place. Like the Tweety birds were around his head and everything. He was out of it. So they stopped the fight, and then Bryce Hall's looking around like, why'd they stop the fight? What's going on? I was coming back. I was going to punch him and I was going to win. No, Bryce, you weren't. The referee quite literally saved your life. If he would not have stopped the fight then and there, you would be dead. You would no longer have a TikTok career. You would be 6 foot in the ground. Austin McBroom, the family YouTuber, would have put you in your casket. He would have put you in the ground. And then, of course, in the post-fight interview, Bryce Hall's like, well, you know, I never claimed to be a fighter. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a boxer. Never claimed to be. Austin's pretty tough. But in the pre-fight little trailer they put together for the fight, he says what I said before. He called himself Superman, said he's like way younger, faster, more athletic. He's a fighter, been in 40 street fights and never lost. And then Austin, who Bryce Hall called old and out of shape, washed up basically, killed him. These street fights that Bryce Hall has been claiming to have been in, over 40 of them, he's had to just been going to elementary school and middle school playgrounds and picking fights with the 10 and 12-year-old kids there, because there's no way, if he picked on anybody his own size, he would get shoved, his face, they would shove him in the dirt, make him smell the dog poop on the grass and rub his face around. They'd give him a noogie and say, "Oh, you're so cute, man. Come back to me when you can actually swing your hands." Austin McBroom basically just farted in Bryce Hall's face and made him sniff it. He stuck his nose in his butt and said, "Get you a good whiff of that, little baby." Utter humiliation. So I'm going to end you off with this TikTok that the Taylor dude and Bryce Hall made before their fights.
Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Now cut to both of them getting their heads punched in like the side of a deflated basketball. It wasn't as boring as Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. I would have much rather watched Jake Paul fight somebody. At least those fights are somewhat eventful. So my overall thoughts on the event, it was very boring, very sad. You know, just it should have been something you turned on in the background as like static noise to fall asleep to and dream about your hot 4th grade teacher. That's really about it. And see you next time. Peace out.